WA3FPN.
Holy cow, look at you. The meter's stuck. I have to tap the radio.
I'm sorry.
How you feeling?
I've been better. I'm going in tomorrow morning for an MRI.
Good luck with that.
I'm pretty good during the day when I'm up moving around, but boy, when I get to bed after about an hour or so, it really starts to hit me.
What is it, your back?
No, it's my right leg, but it's coming from my back. I have a pinched nerve.
Sciatic?
I guess.
Yeah, it goes down the back side of the back, radiates, and it goes all the way down.
Yeah, it's my right leg, mostly between my hip and my knee, but it has been going down into the lower part of my leg here the past couple of days.
Yeah, that's number 2 on your spine on the bottom.
Yeah, I think they said that.
That's what it sounds like, sciatica.
You got to get that. Have you considered? Do you have damage down there, or is this an issue of chiropractic can help?
No, they're going to operate. I went in to see the specialist on Tuesday, and I was in for this before. This has been going on for a while now, and they looked at the past MRI, and they have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do, but they want to do a fresh one just to make sure. There's two things possibly they're going to do, and one of them involves hardware. They said that would be probably like a 4-week recovery time, and then the other one was less than that, and that was done as an outpatient.
All right, so you got a little bit of scar tissue down there, I take it?
I don't really know that.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you. I'll put my thoughts heavenward for you.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, they make it sound like it's not really a big deal.
Well, it's not really a big deal. No, not really, until it starts hurting again.
Yeah, well, hopefully this will take care of it, because about past, this is the 2nd week now, and I was at a point where I couldn't move.
Yeah, that's getting pretty bad.
Don't get old.
Yeah, I got that in my wish bucket. I'm just waiting for somebody to pick the bucket up to take it and deliver it. There's only one problem with not getting old.
The alternative is it stops today.
That's right. No more pain.
Yeah, I guess you got a point there.
I know when I was having all that trouble and I couldn't move around, I went to this doctor, and I'll tell you, man, he did an amazing job on me. Now, I've gotten, I'm pumped full of nerve block, but it really made a huge difference in my life, I'll tell you. And now I'm getting to the point now where I've got to go back to see him. And I'm not, I don't want to have surgery. I just don't want to have surgery because I just too active. I've got too many things that I want to do still. And I don't know. I wish you luck. I can't wait to see how it goes for you.
Yeah, me too. They say don't. I've talked to other people about it, and they said don't hesitate to have it done because it's not a big deal, and it's amazing the difference after it's done.
What causes the problem in the first place?
Well, I have a pinched nerve, which probably stems from my one leg being shorter than the other for the past probably 55 years or so.
Oh man, there it is.
Were you born that way, or did something happen?
No, I jumped out of a silo when I was about 13, and when I hit the ground, it compression fractured my leg, and I'm guessing at that time they probably didn't have the technology that they have now, so they probably didn't get it pulled out far enough.
Yeah, so
okay,
you've been off kilter ever since then, and your bottom spine has been trying to... finally, it has taken its toll.
Exactly.
Yeah, Yeah, the chiropractors, I go to one every now and then to get myself popped back in because I do a lot of overhead work. The window treatment install sounds wussy, but you do about 50 of them a day over a long period of time, and your neck and upper back is just a mess. So you get quite an education when you go to one of them guys, and they tell you all about that. If you're out of balance or with the legs out like that or anything like that, boy, that can just be a world of hurt later on.
A lot of windows.
Well, we just did that on yesterday. We were down in the Phoenixville Hospital all day, and we between me and Dad there, we did 54 of them. We did a whole floor of the 4th floor North Tower, and oh God, man, I tell you, my neck and shoulders were so sore for I don't know how many hours it took to calm down.
Well, you probably came right by here then.
Oh, we take out the turnpike to the Morgantown exit, hit Route 10, and then get off right there and go across the trucking place onto 23, and then take 23 Country Street down into Phoenixville.
Well, when you go past the Lancaster 11 and exit about a mile or two, if you look off to the right, you can almost see me.
Oh, are you close to that big? No, I guess you wouldn't be. That big silo that's actually a cell tower.
I don't think so. If you know where there's a big building there after you go past the Lancaster 11 and exit on the right where they do, what do you call it? They compost garbage or something there, and then if you keep looking straight past that, I'm 3 miles south of the turnpike.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're out in the One Valley. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, we just got the call today from the sales guy. The blinds for Alex Grass Building, floor 9, have just arrived. So we're seeing what they're going to do with the logistics of getting them down to the job site. If not, we're going to have to take care of that like we did on the 8th floor, and that was a nightmare.
All this money you're making.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he has that new antenna up.
Yeah, I might actually spend some money and get a real mic.
You know, Mark, why waste money on a microphone? It's not going to cure your problem.
I do it just to make you wonder about me, Ray. How's it working?
Well, I'm just telling you, it's not going to cure the problem. That's going to be the issue.
What's the problem?
Yeah, but it looks prettier than this thing.
I thought since you put that wire up, it sounds like you got a whole new radio mic and everything.
It's only one step in the process for Ray, okay? I know what Ray's doing. He's fine. I'm not mad at him. He's pushing me in the right way. And the problem here isn't Ray. The problem's me. I'm cheap.
Not as cheap as me. I'm using Cat 3 phone line.
Huh. I can out-cheap you any day. Don't even bother going there.
The only thing I had to buy was an amplifier.
I had this radio given to me.
Yeah, he told me. Well, I did. I had this radio. My wife bought me this radio for my birthday, so I got lucky there, too.
Yeah, we're heading neck to neck. I'm going to have to do a little bit of engine adjustment on my cheap dragster here, so I'm going to get it down to that 0.01 second difference.
Dave, I think you have more in your amplifier than he has in his whole station, though. You broke the bank when you bought that. No, actually, Randy, I'm very happy with it. So I'm still saying it was a good deal. You know, we had a little problem with a tube, but you remedied that very, very quickly, and I thank you again for that. But, you know, the thing's just been and I got to work on it. I got to tear it all apart and see what makes it click, and that's fun too. So we're supposed to maybe pick up another one tomorrow. Oh, that's going to work out then. I'm almost sure we're going to take the ride tomorrow. So
hopefully we'll come back home with it. And he wants to plug it in here and test it, so maybe I'll have it on the air by tomorrow night.
Oh, that'd be great. That'll be great. No, I wasn't saying that you spent too much for it. I'm just saying that you spent way more than Mark has in his station. So when it comes to being cheap, he's way ahead of you.
Between the radio, the microphone, the amplifier, the tuner, and the new antenna, between all of that equipment to give this signal to you was around $1,000.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap. I think you got me beat, Mark, NRAS-AG.
I know you got me beat.
It can be done, boys. It can be done. You just got to be patient.
That's right. Good things come to those who wait. You're right. Look at Ray wound up with a Kenwood. Well, there goes the good things come to those who wait. The good things part, anyway.
Poor Ray. Ray, why you got to take that like that? Hello? Ray soldering, that's right. He's got his hands full.
What is he soldering? The roof? He's been soldering for 2 days.
He's got a big project. It's a secret.
He's perfecting his flow.
Maybe he's working on that new antenna.
No, I soldered one. I changed the plug, and then I decided I put the wrong plug on, so now I'm going to change it back to another kind of plug. I'm trying to get a halfway decent speaker that sounds better on this radio, because when Dennis came over here yesterday, he said, oh my God, beautiful radio, but oh my God, lousy, really, really bad sounding speaker.
Oh, I forgot one item. It's $1,002.50 for the speaker that I built.
Look, the thing is, putting an MXL or a professional series microphone on the radio you have there is not going to cure your problem. It just is not going to cure it. So that's why it's just going to be a total waste of money. Buy the new radio. Buy the 7300, and then the hand mic will sound 100 times better than the radio you're on now.
I honestly, Ray, I'm not trying to cause problems, but this radio sounds pretty good. I don't know, the thing sounds great. I mean, his mic got that signature click when he keys up, but otherwise the audio's nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's in a hand mic. That's why you're hearing the click.
Yeah, right, yeah. And you could probably go get by that. I have a foot switch here.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking this element and actually building like a little microphone with a keying circuit and everything out of PVC with a nice little base and everything, and put the element in with a little foamy thing on the top. And then I'd have a homebrew microphone as well as a homebrew speaker and a homebrew tuner. And
I built a mic. It was in there was a article in one of the QSTs a year or two ago about building a mic with a electret element mic, and the guy had it all strung up with rubber bands and everything. He had a regular built himself his own home built studio mic, and I built one in a hand. I put it in a hand mic for a mobile, and the thing worked great.
With homebrew feed line, with a homebrew antenna.
Yeah, it's more fun to homebrew, And I was going to homebrew a solid state amp, but like I say, they go up to, this one was a push-pull circuit, could do a kilowatt, but watch out, how many solid state amps I've had to build and rebuild on account of mistakes I've made. But of course now the commercial ones have all protection circuits and all that. But good old tube amp, I think that amp with the two, an Alpha with two 3CX800 A7s in it? Is that what Glenn was looking at?
Yeah, he's got to have a pair of them. That sounds like a really nice amp.
Yeah, that's a workhorse there for sure. Alpha, Randy's an Alpha fan.
There was only one Alpha, and I finally got it, and probably the only one I'll ever have. Not that the other ones aren't good, but I just like this old. It looks like it's like using an old Kenmore washing machine. You go to the where you have to do the laundromat, and you put the quarters in. You slide the big thing back, and you got the big buttons. Kaboom, kaboom. You got the dial. Crank, 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 crank. That's kind of like what it's like using this thing.
Don't they make radio?
Kenmore, yeah. They make an 890 right now currently.
Yeah, it sounded familiar.
And it's just as reliable as the old washing machine.
You just need a second tube in that, Randy.
Yeah, he does.
Well, shucks, John, you think so?
You just put a blue glow over Toad Harbor when you key up.
That'd be fine with me, because normally I'm the guy accused of dimming the lights.
Will that power supply handle two tubes, Randy? I remember one time you were talking about it. You were going to take it down south somewhere and have it done. The guy's got the parts to do it over.
Yeah, he has a kit, and this has got the 2-tube power supply in it. And actually, when the guy bought it new, turns out the guys that I talked to in Ohio, their good friend is the guy who bought this new. And he had, the power supply came, it was damaged, so he called Alpha, and they asked to send it back, and they did, or he sent it back, and they sent him a new power supply, and they said, I hope you don't mind, but this is the power supply out of the SX amplifiers, because we don't have any more of the DX power supply. So he wound up, since this was new, it's had the bigger power supply in it.
Oh, that's good. I would just order that kit.
If I wasn't so busy today, I may have ordered it, to be honest. I was thinking about it today.
And then now you're going to need a spare amp to put online. So when you get this one apart, you know what I'm saying? You're going to hate yourself now.
Well, I'm not looking to do it anytime soon. Yeah, this rig puts out 200 watts. I can just go back into the program and let it eat. 200 watts. I'll probably still be quite a bit stronger than Ray most places.
Most of the time you are anyway.
And that's important.
That's the only reason I'm here, pal.
Oh, stop it.
That's the mission in life.
That's it. Nothing's changed since 2 meters. He had to run away, go to 6 meters, try to get away from me, and of course there I trounced him bad.
You really hurt him.
I hurt him bad.
No way to treat a friend that's that loyal.
Hey, Mark, I can sell you a nice 7600 for $600.
The highest antenna now in the tower. And then you guys disappeared. I wondered where you went.
There's a lot of double in there. Dave, what was that?
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying, when you and Ray went to 6 meters, I went to 6 meters too, and then you guys gave up on 6, I guess.
575.
No, when I left 6, that was it. I was done. When I left 6 and 2, I was done. When I walked in the house just before a contest, and I got a load of grief from the War Department in the kitchen. I'll never forget as long as I lived. I walked in and I started getting grief. I turned around, walked out, climbed the tower, dropped my antennas down, and flopped the tower over. I said, "There, you happy now? It's all done." So then I gave away all my stuff. So I'll never forget that day. That was not a good day in my life.
Was she happy?
No, God, no.
How are you going to get it here, Ray?
Well, you should have known better.
Yeah, you're right. I should have, but yeah. Anyway, it's not. I relived that already 100 times. I don't need to go to 101.
How are you going to get it here, Ray?
Next time Randy's driving down that way, I'll have him drop it off.
With my money cash.
Cash is king, Marcus.
Well, I need the cash to get to Ray, so I think maybe it'll be a money order.
That's okay, Mark. It was just a joke, but it went over Randy's head.
It didn't go by me at all.
I said sold at that price. I got it right now. If you got a credit card machine, if you can get it to me postal, however you want to send it, make sure it's bubble wrapped real good so if it bounces off the truck, it's protected.
Make sure you get the money ahead of time, Ray, and then I'll send the package.
Okay.
I'm good for it. I have never stiffed anybody.
That'd be the most expensive concrete block, Ray, I've ever sold.
Heck, I'll give it $7,600 to try. All this talk about it. I like my 7,000.
I've got one of those. It's an okay radio.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. I mean, they're not, $4,000 radio. They're mobile, but they do very well.
Yeah, not bad. Mine gets overloaded a bit more than I'd like. I'm on my road. On my road, I can hear the AM station coming through, but it's it's a pretty good radio. I've had real good luck with mine.
Well, you're not just running the average mobile antenna on that either, Randy. You've got a resonant, very efficient antenna on that, and that's why you're getting some of that front end.
Yeah. Well, what would happen if you were running that at your house?
The 7,000?
Yeah, Randy. If Randy was running that radio on his base station antenna, he wouldn't be able to hear anybody on 160. He'd only hear that AM station. Well, maybe the antenna tuner would take it out.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, I ran a 7,000 here for a couple of years, Ray, even down here on 160, and I ran that into that little Ameritron solid-state amp. I did 500 watts for, probably 2 or 3 years on that 7,000 for 160 meter, even during the summer. And I didn't have any overload issues with that. It worked very well here. It all depends on what you're close to and how you use the equipment.
Well, if I get the interference mark right up the road from my house, less than what's the railroad tracks? Probably maybe a half a mile from the house, it takes it out. So I would imagine if I had that directly hooked to my loop antenna, I'd probably, have a problem. But with the tuner that I have, I think it would take it out probably completely.
Oh, what do you have, a AM broadcaster or something?
Yeah. And it's an odd thing, too, because it happens right in one spot on the road. And then when I get up to the corner, it happens all along Route 49 till I get back to 81 just about.
Yeah, if you put that on that loop, your front end would probably collapse pretty hard on that. That's made for a small mobile antenna. I run my 7,000. I listen to AM 580 here. It's a big station here in Harrisburg, and I'm on a 6-meter stick antenna, a half over quarter wave collinear stick, vertical stick for 6 meters. And I use that to receive AM, and I'm getting 35 over 9 on AM 580. So the front end of that 7,000 is super hot. It's made that way because it's made to be on a compromised mobile antenna. So it's a problem. You try to use that on a real antenna, and it collapses.
You think that's the case? I don't know. I've never thought that. I've always been in the mindset that they make them the way they make them, and they don't consider it they don't make it different as a mobile as far as receiver sensitivity than they would if it were a base, because a lot of people run those things in a base. But does anybody actually have any empirical data that's actually the case? I've always thought that was incorrect. I know a lot of people always talk about it, or people have talked about it, but I never really thought that were the case.
Bad design. It's designed for a mobile, so they don't consider that it's going to have that big giant antenna on it. and they, it's a receiver issue. I don't know how to explain it. It's not a mobile issue. It's the receiver design issue. It's the same thing with the Yaesu mobile. So remember that guy came in here and he had a Yaesu mobile and he was hearing AM broadcast on it.
Well, yeah, I understand. Is it filtering though, or what?
What was that?
Is it filtering? Is it the issue in filtering?
It's the entire design of the receiver. It's, I don't know how to. It's the same issue that say, for instance, the 7610 has. Just the wrong design.
It's too open on the front end and a bit too sensitive. They made it really super sensitive. So whatever design they ran for the preamp there on the front of the radio is designed for a small compromised mobile antenna so that you can maximize your receive. It works fine if you have it on a receive mobile type situation. It works very well. But you put a full-size antenna on there, it's just it's front-end overload. So you clip the attenuation in it, it almost acts like a normal radio.
Well, I don't know. When you get overloaded, Randy, you're not running a preamp, right? You can shut the preamp off in that.
Well, yeah, I never run a preamp in it. Well, I can't say that. If I'm on, say, 17 or 20 meters, maybe the preamp is on then, but not normally on 60 meters or 80 meters or 160.
Yeah, the majority of the time I ran a receive antenna on my 7000, so I wasn't even using the transmit antenna to receive. And if I did, I had to go to the attenuation, because if I was just on regular receive, it would just bring the noise floor and so much noise in with it. It was tough. It's just the wrong tool for the job. It's designed for a mobile environment, not for a big full-size base antenna.
Yeah, got it. Anyway, I think our friend Bad Mike is in the air right now. I'm sure he is.
Oh, he's on his way home? Good.
Yeah, last time we talked, he was in Tel Aviv.
So how long was he over there for?
A week.
Wow, that's an amazing story. There's got to be more to that story. I'll bet you. Listen, it came to me last night while I was sleeping what he was doing there.
Well, all right. So, what do you think, Mike? What could Mike possibly be doing in Israel?
He went over to meet a woman.
Oh my God.
That's the real story. He was online, found this beautiful Israeli girl, and decided to go check her out in person. It's just that simple.
All right, well, we'll see. I asked him to give a full report when he gets back.
Because let's face it, no matter what anybody says, no normal human being would go to Israel by himself.
Why is that?
They just wouldn't.
You have to understand, Ray won't go to the gas station by himself.
Now that is very true.
I think it happens, Ray, way more than you think.
Well, maybe. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I don't know. I just find the whole thing kind of odd.
Well, he's been having a good time over there. He's got a lot of really nice pictures, and I'm sure many, many great memories.
I'm sure he does.
Shut up, Ray, you asshole.
Trying to see what he said. So far, good. Just pulled into Tel Aviv. M states for an early departure to Amman, and then Chicago. What do you think is more dangerous, Tel Aviv, Amman, or Chicago?
That's a good question. It depends on where you go in Chicago.
I bet you per capita there's a lot more people killed in Chicago every day than either Tel Aviv or Amman.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that one.
There's 5 checkpoints to get into Tel Aviv Airport.
Wow, that's pretty safe probably.
Yeah, I felt pretty secure when I was in the airport.
You didn't go there by yourself, did you?
I did.
Son of a... Jesus Christ, now we got a problem.
Was he looking for a woman too?
Negative.
Ray, are we going to be able to keep John on that now?
Well, I guess, hang on, let me pull my mic down. I guess we got 2 crazy people on the world-famous Toad Harbor net.
Wait a minute. I thought I was crazy.
Well, he was talking about you and him.
That's 3, because the one that's already over there coming back's crazy.
Oh, he's bad.
Well, the point being, by the time you get into those airport facilities and the like, you feel pretty safe, WBWYP.
I'm sure inside the airport you're probably safe. Yeah, I'm sure. Is it a little unnerving with all the guys standing around with machine guns?
That's the way it is. That's life in the region.
And 3 or more.
KB2ZVP.
What I love about Israel is the Hasidic Jews, with their long coats and the hat and the hair, and they're all carrying Uzis under their coats.
Yeah.
I love it.
Don't forget to
You can meet a
with diamonds.
fine young girl over there too, and the chances are she may be packing also.
Right. Well, that's my point. That's why Bad Mike really went over there. That's the real reason. Don't let anybody kid you. And when he gets back here tomorrow, I'm going to make him tell the truth.
I'll bet he had a really good time. That's a trip of a lifetime, and really everybody ought to do it.
What did you go over for, John? Was it business or pleasure?
Business.
Oh, okay.
But the point is, getting out of your region and the like, you get to see the way the real world is, and that's just the way it is in a lot of places, and they've adapted to their environment the way that they've had to.
Right, well, I guess so. I adapted to my environment the way I had to.
How was that? Shelter yourself into the shack?
No, the same way the Hasidic Jews do. Never go out without your Uzi.
Boy, that Fox woman, I think she's in some trouble out there in Chicago.
Oh, thank God. She's just such a piece of garbage. I know you're going to all tell... well, this shouldn't surprise anybody, but, you have to remember the nature of the business that I was in my entire life. You just have an extra sense. You can virtually look at people. Not every single time, mind you. It doesn't work every single time, but probably 80 or 90% of the time. You can just look at somebody and you can tell what they are. And the second I saw her, I didn't like her. She's just a piece of garbage. She's just one of those democratic, we can do anything. Nobody, we're in other words, and you hear it every day now. Rush Limbaugh and even Donald Trump is touting it every day. Those people think that they can take over your life, run this country, and they know exactly what's right, and everybody else is a blithering idiot.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And she's just And as much as I love the Hallmark girls, she's just like Lori Loughlin and the rest of them. You know, they just happen to have that 1 in a million, literally 1 in a million talent where they can get up in front of a camera and make huge, huge amounts of money. And then that money goes to their head. And this is a fact. I mean, I'm 100% sure what I'm telling you. Once you're earning, 2 or 5 or 10 million a year, you are just automatically, your brain is going to tell you that you are just that much better than the rest of the people in the world who can only earn $50,000 or $100,000 a year. And then you get euphoric like all the Hollywood actors are, and you think you're smarter than everybody else. And I'm pretty sure that everybody in here that I'd give any credit for having any kind of a brain would agree with me that there isn't a dumber bunch of people on the planet than the actors in Hollywood as a whole.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with that statement as well.
I mean, they did a little expose on what's the guy's name there that's always getting into a fight with somebody. He was yelling and screaming at his kid on the phone one time, and she recorded it. Alec Baldwin. Now, there is one demented, sick SOB, okay? He's just as bad as they come, and he hates Trump with a passion, and he thinks he is some kind of a god. Oh, it was on Sean Hannity. Did anybody happen to catch that segment on Sean Hannity about Alec Baldwin?
I think everybody in the world must have caught that. It was everywhere.
Right, where Alec Baldwin walked right off his first day on the job on a radio show, and he walks right off the job, puts on his coat, and walks out the door.
Oh, I don't know about that. I thought you meant the kid getting yelled at by his father.
No. Sean, I don't know. Alec Baldwin must have done something stupid. I know what he was doing. He was calling, Sean Hannity all kinds of names. So Sean decided to fight back, and he did about a 20-minute or maybe even 30-minute segment on Alec Baldwin. And he said, I don't have to make stories up about Alec like he does about me. I don't have to make these stories. He said, I can show you, and he played some excerpts right off the air, what he was saying, and at that time he walked out on the job, and so forth and so on. And it was truly incredible. The man is crazy. I mean, he is legitimately crazy. And what he said, one of the things he said about Sean Hannity, he said, basically he's nothing. He was a construction worker. I mean, my God, he's a construction worker that happens to be sitting in front of the microphone, and that's what Sean Hannity said. He said, when I was younger, he said, I did various jobs, and he said one of them was I was a construction worker, and he said, I'm very proud of that. He said, I worked very hard, and I worked in the real world like everybody else, and he said it's just thank the Lord, basically, that I ended up in this job and I'm able to do it every day. And then he went into Alec Baldwin and he said, now listen to this. And Alec was on the air, and Sean, I think it was Sean talking to him, had called in, and Alec got all pissed off, and I think it was his first day on the job at ABC Radio in New York and his new talk show, and he got so pissed he just walked right out the door, and the other guy jumped on the mic and he said, Alec he's walked out the door, and he's putting on his jacket. He's actually out there putting on his jacket, and he opens the door and he goes, Alec, come on back here. He says, you can't just walk away. Come on back. And he says, oh, he's gone. He left.
Mary had a little lamb.
Well, I guess that was one way to get him off the air.
But he does that all the time, all the time. He got into the fist fight with a guy in New York because he said the guy took his parking place. I mean, it's just he's a nutcase. He's truly a real, live, honest-to-goodness nutcase.
But hey, he's Alec Baldwin. He doesn't have to put up with people like that. He's Alec Baldwin. He's famous. His poop doesn't stink anymore. Active man. I mean, I can be like that too, except I'm too cheap.
The other one, the other craze. I mean, all those Hollywood actors are nuts. Rosie O'Donnell, who's the, I always liked her too. I thought she was really, really cool until Obama. You know, when Obama got elected, he actually destroyed many of the Hollywood actors because for some stupid reason, which is totally beyond me, he's the worst president the country's ever had, period. Ever. He was the absolute worst president this country's ever had. And yet all these actors stick up for him like he's some kind of a god. Who's that black girl there? Sister Act. What's her name?
Whoopi.
Yeah, Whoopi. I always loved Whoopi Goldberg, and I always liked Oprah Winfrey, too. And then Obama gets elected, and he turns both of them into pieces of dung.
Smaller. So here's a question for you. How come Jesse Smollett, when he was going through his stuff, the Obamas both jumped on his side and started supporting him? And what I think is really interesting is Joe Biden, who served Obama for 8 years, when he gets into his feathers gets ruffled, Obama's nowhere to be found. I mean, Obama doesn't say a single thing. And the people that worked for Obama are working for this, are going for, what's his name? That Gotti, I don't forget his name. But they're not going anywhere near poor old Uncle Joe.
Joe's a white guy.
Uncle Joe is, he's got all kinds of issues, and he will do himself in. Even the Democratic Party is going to do everything they can to keep him from running because they know already he virtually has no chance at all against Trump. Zero, none.
Well, I'll tell you, he's
like the old
everybody
Democrat Party. It's not enough
giving
like
him a
the
hard
new Democrat
time.
Party.
Our Democrats, it's really something to see.
What are you talking about? You mean his own party giving him a hard time, right?
Yeah, they're the ones that are piling on him.
Right, but again, they're going to pile on Bernie. They're going to pile on him. They're going to pick another, Clinton. They're going to pick another Hillary Clinton to run for president, and Trump's going to kick whoever it is his backside back into the weeds.
Yeah, the problem with those guys, they're not gay, and they're not black, and they're not female. So I think that for the Democratic Party to want to run somebody, I think they've got to have either a few different qualifications, and the top three are gay or lesbian, black or Hispanic, and preferably a female.
Well, that's true, but the Democratic Party always forgets the most important thing. The United States is still filled primarily with people like us.
No, it doesn't matter. By the time 2020 comes around, they're going to have all kinds of illegal aliens that are registered to vote, and they'll pack that up. Don't worry.
Again, you're underestimating Trump.
No, I agree. That's their battle plan.
Well, they can have any plan they want. All you have to do is see those bozos pull up in front of any microphone, and if you have an IQ that's over 100 or over, I think you can see right through them for what they really are. They have nothing. They'll never have anything. They have nothing at all in the way of making this country better. They're virtually as dumb as Alec Baldwin and Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them. And all they do is have their BS rhetoric, which is 98.9% lies.
Amen.
Where's Bruce tonight? Has he checked in yet? KB2ZVP.
Yeah, I thought Bruce came in a few transmissions ago. Bruce, are you in here? Edwin DBL. Hello, Bruce. Where are you? I could have swore he came in about 10 minutes ago.
I did not hear him.
W2KRY.
Hey, Randy.
How's my junk sounding tonight?
Sounds great.
Sounds good here.
Marcus? Ray, how you doing?
Doing good.
Okay, what are you running? Because that's not your normal junk.
Oh, I'm on the smack, man. I'm talking close to the mic and I'm on the smack.
Hey, so when's that new Yaesu coming out? Are they ever going to come out with that, or are they? Did they when they show that radio? Is it just a real 101 with a new case over it?
Ray, they are taking so much time. I think it's, if you will, give me a minute, if you will, I think it's all because of you and your criticism of the ICOM 7610 that they're taking their sweet time and making sure everything is up to par before they release this.
You know, Randy, I wouldn't be at all, not even at all surprised if you're right. And I wouldn't at all be surprised if in Japan they listen intently every night to the world-famous Toad Harbor Net to get the latest details on what radio's good and what radio's bad. And I think what Yaesu is terrified of is this 890. They're going to have, they can't outperform this 890, then, you know, they're already in trouble.
I don't think they're trying to outperform the 890. They've got their own agenda, but I'm quite certain that many people in Asia have lost their jobs, and maybe some. I'm not saying maybe some have lost their lives because of the world famous Toad Harbor Net.
Because of the 7610, you mean?
Affirmative.
Yeah, well, maybe they committed Harry Carey because of their they've lost faith. I don't know. Do they still do that over there?
They used to. Any honorable person would.
Well, I know it probably pisses a lot of people off, but I'm sorry to say, and I have more right than most people to say it, because I had two of those junk radios, and as far as I'm concerned, they're just a nice-looking box with a very poor designed radio inside. Well, somebody prove me, if you think I'm wrong, step right up and prove me wrong. But I'll tell you what, that radio is just a pile of junk. That thing overloads so many different ways, and in any kind of a high RF environment, that thing overloads so many different ways, you don't even know where the overload's coming from. All I know is here, any preamp, doesn't matter. Preamp 1, preamp 2, doesn't matter. 160, 40, 20, 80, 10, 11, any band you put the preamp on, the radio's overloaded. And the important thing everyone must remember is it's not always from the towers behind my house, because at nighttime, there's nothing running on those towers at nighttime. They run during the day when the businesses are up and running. At night, there's never anything on those towers. So the overload at nighttime was most likely coming from the AM broadcast band. And I don't have those big signals here like some people would have. So regardless of what anybody thinks about those radios, there's many people who have those radios who are always going to be in the same situation.
Hey, Ray?
Yes.
Do you still have a BMW for sale?
Yes.
What? She didn't buy it?
No, she had this mechanic guy come up, and he, I can tell you exactly what he did. He came up, he looked over the car real carefully, did a good job, knew all about it, couldn't one thing wrong with it. Literally, the guy came here to find stuff wrong with the car so she could get it cheaper, and he couldn't find one thing wrong with it because it's virtually brand new. And then he comes up with it. He says to me, Do you know that this car has the 2.5 liter engine in it? And I said, yeah, of course I know it. We ordered it. So he goes, well, you know, it's not worth as much money as the 3.0. I said, yeah. So I said, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I'm just telling you, it's not worth as much money as the 3.0. So I said, great. Well, if it was the 319 horse engine, it would be worth even more money than the 3.0, and I'd be charging appropriately more. I said, you just simply are never. I said, look it. I said, I've been playing with cars since I was 16 years old. And I said, even though you're a mechanic and certainly more qualified at fixing cars than I am, you don't know anything more about these cars or any cars than I do. I said, I defy you to find a car anywhere that's in better condition than this one. I said, I'll admit right here and now, you may find one that's as good as this, but you will never find one better. And that's the way we left it. So he was trying to get the car cheaper. I talked to the guy. You know, the reason I gave her a break on the price is because her stepson bought my mother's house. Okay, so I immediately knocked off a G-note off the price of the car to her. And, you know, I just don't think she's got the money to buy it. And, of course, that isn't my issue. I'm just telling you the whole story so you understand it, because the car essentially doesn't even belong to me. It belongs to my kid. So I'm not going to sell out my kid so this girl can get a better deal on the car. That's the whole story in a nutshell. N1 DVL.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Usually when they bring someone else, it's, well, you got this and you don't have that. And they're like, yeah, why don't you go wash your hair? So, hey, Randy, how's that maple syrup coming?
God's making it right now.
I love Vermont made.
God?
Yeah, he's got to make the sap. And
Oh, my son, God, no?
well, you got to actually. You know what? Maureen was there today. She was actually at their house today.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, she was there. She didn't think about you.
What?
Yeah, he wants a gallon of.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She didn't know. I didn't tell her. Sorry, my fault.
Oh, I thought you
Do you know what a gallon of good maple syrup's going to cost if you bought it at the regular price?
$60.
But what do you think it's going to cost? I mean, what do you mean the regular price?
Well, I was $60. I figured that's cheap, but it's certainly going to be at least $60 for a gallon of maple syrup, definitely. Thank God that I'm perfectly happy with Vermont made.
Well, yeah. What do you want, Randy? Do you want a gallon jug, or do you want four quarts?
Well, okay. All right. Let's get into this now. Now that we're into it, let's get into it. Take your shoes off, snuggle in a little bit. We got different grades of maple syrup, so he knows that. Does he do different grades? Does he do different prices? Does he do a mix and match? Will he do a different, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, what do you want? That's what the question is. They bottle, all sizes, all grades, she's saying. So just, you got to decide what grade do you want and how many bottles and how big the bottles are.
All right. If he does quarts, I'll do a quart of one of every grade that he makes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll find out how many grades there are. I'm not sure how many I guess it depends on this. It depends on the year and how the sap content is, the sugar content of the sap. So, what they can pull out of it. So, we'll have to ask them. Maureen says they do
table grade.
Table grade.
Like a medium amber.
Yeah, medium amber.
And then they'll also do a dark amber in a quart.
Dark amber in a quart.
And if you want it, I don't know if they do like a cooking grade in the quart. They might do.
Maybe. Well, we'll find out. She'll call tomorrow. Yeah, like those little grade B, but that's for cooking. You don't want that.
No, I don't want the Mrs. Butterworth. No, don't want that.
Yeah, they don't do that. That's just,
good evening, everyone.
But anyway, I'll have her call tomorrow, and tomorrow night on a net we can discuss it.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I'm a gastro. I've been home brewing and beer judging for 30 years, so I like variety. I like different stuff, and whatever they make, I'd like to try in a row, and with complete understanding that it's this year and this year only, and next year you never know. It might be different. Hey, Randy, did you hear Devin break in there?
Yes, K1DSK. Hello, Randy. Hello, Randy. Hello, Ray. And Mark, I guess. Good evening. I want some maple syrup, too.
Good evening, Devin.
Hello, good evening. It was sleeting here earlier, and cloudy and wet day today here. Cold.
Yeah, we had a lot of snow here today, but now it's not. It's just raining now, but it was a nasty day. A lot of freezing rain.
But it's going to be good. At 9:30, I watch basketball, NCAA Women's. UConn, the home of champions, is playing at 9:30 in the quarterfinals. Oh, semifinals.
Yeah, it should be semifinals, right? And I know Dave's wife will be all excited about watching UConn. That's her favorite team.
Oh, yeah. When first time women won the championship, Catherine and her friends coined a phrase, UConn, where men are men and women are champions. And the women have proved that. They won the championship 13 times. And hopefully one more.
We're going to go see the baseball game tomorrow.
Live or TV?
At the stadium. We have a stadium here in Syracuse that we go to quite a bit. And the Mets bought, I guess, they bought the franchise or whatever. So their farm team is here now.
So who are they playing against?
I think tomorrow they're playing Pawtucket, the Red Sox.
Oh, I see. Oh, that should be a good game, yeah. I only watch basketball and college basketball only, and that too last 4 games. During the season, no, I don't like TV sports.
We like going to the stadium here. It's a lot of fun. We used to go to the one in Rochester, and I think we're going to figure out our seats and buy year-round seats. What do they call them? Season tickets, yeah.
Season tickets, yeah. Oh, Randy, I'm serious about the maple syrup. So in June, we have a friend who lives in Vermont. He's bringing us some. And then we're going to have from Adirondack. And let's see what happens. Ray wins or Randy wins?
Oh, I can't wait that long. I've got to have it this weekend.
I'll tell you where to go get it.
The friend from Vermont is coming in 2 weeks. So we'll have some. We still have left from last year. We got from Vermont, but this time we want to get even a supply so it lasts for a while.
Hey Randy, I didn't realize this, but you got it. You got it. You can go. You can just leave your house and go get it. They all the Stewart shops sell Adirondack maple syrup, so you can get it. You can get it right there.
Oh, I thought I was going to get the world famous Toad Harbor discount.
Yeah, well, if you need it this weekend, I mean, unless you want me to call you Mark, you know.
Why would you call Mark?
Well, call you Mark, because Mark's always the guy that wants something for nothing. You know, I want you to give it to me, but deliver it too.
And install it.
Really? Is that where you thought I was going with all this?
Yeah, I thought that's where you're. Yeah, absolutely.
You should go wash your hair.
I don't have any hair to wash. I could wash my scalp.
It's hanging off the end of your chin.
You say that's right. You said you wanted it for the weekend.
Wow. You need to lay out the sauce, man.
Oh, your
well,
fault.
I'm just going by what you said.
No wonder. Over to you, Ray.
Mark, when you want maple syrup, you go tap a tree and boil it down yourself, right?
No, I go to the little place called Sharp Shopper here, and I get it for $10 a container. It's 1 block down from my house.
Okay. Well, I buy Vermont Made, and I really like that. The real good maple syrup that Jeff sent me from Canada was very good. That was very, very good. But the Vermont Made, I can live with that.
Yeah, that's not even maple syrup Vermont Made.
Well, I'm sure it's got at least 1% maple syrup.
Yeah, that's the Mrs. Buttersworth. How do you say it? Mrs. Butterworth.
No, it's not. I don't like Mrs. Butterworth. I don't like the way that tastes. I like the Vermont Made. Real maple syrup's good. If you get that real good stuff and the fancy stuff, it's good. It's okay, but I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $60 for a gallon of it.
Yeah, it's about the going rate right now.
No, I understand that.
We get from Vermont, where our friend lives, his neighbor, he makes his own syrup. A limited amount, but some he sells, mostly for themselves. Really good.
Yeah, we're a little too far south for that anyway, Ray. We'd have to be about another 200-300 miles further north to really start having good maple tree syrup type environment.
False.
I should go find some maple trees up here and tap them and get the syrup and boil it down myself. There's no secret to it, right? You just have to get the syrup and just boil it down about, 100 to 1 or 70 to 1 or something, and that's all it takes, right?
That's it.
Yeah, 40 to 1. 40-ish to 1.
So you need 40 gallons to get 1 gallon, and that's all you have to do is put that on the stove and boil it, and then that's it, right?
Yeah, basically.
A lot of work, Ray.
Well, the cooking is very easy. You chop some vegetables, cut some meat, put on the fire, and good food comes out.
Yeah, I made a really nice chicken soup tonight. Really, really nice. Chicken, sauteed it, pepper, fresh garlic, broccoli. Let's see what I put in it. Broccoli, onions, carrots, and mushrooms. And I'll tell you what, that was very. Oh, and vermouth. I put a couple cups of vermouth in with it. Very nice chicken soup. And by the way, Devin, just for your information, just to prove that I listen to you very carefully, you probably don't believe that. I'm buying all food now, organic. Everything I can get organic now. I try to get all organic.
Oh, good for you, Ray. Good for you. That's very important because these days you have no idea what they're putting. About 20 years ago, I read a book called My Year of Meat. And this reporter goes and finds what kind of all the hormones, all the junk they feed the animals. Unless you know where the meat comes from, your neighbor or your local farm, don't buy meat in supermarket unless you're sure it's good quality. The grass-raised cows, free-range chicken, it makes a lot of difference. And the type of stuff they used to feed cows, bones and mixture and everything. And there's really a lot of people got sick. So get organic, local farm, and if you know the farmer who raises the cow, that's the best. Vegetables, no pesticides, herbicides, and all the junk they spray on those. So tell me, did you add any herbs or spices to your soup?
The only thing I put in there was fresh parsley. I bought some fresh parsley, and ground black pepper and lots of garlic. That's it. But let me just tell you one quick story. And when you were away, when you were in India, one day I just went out. I wanted something different. So what I did was I went up to Stop and Shop and I bought like a half a pound of sliced chicken breast, 3/4 of a pound of sliced roast beef, and then I went to get my normal bread, and I usually buy Nature's Promise bread, but they were out of it, so I grabbed the loaf of their store bread for $1, and I came home and I made basically, that's what I ate, sandwiches out of that. I was so sick the next day. This is what when I finally saw the light, Devin. Okay, so what I ate for dinner was the sliced turkey, the sliced roast beef, and that bread. And that bread was loaded, and I mean loaded with chemicals. It's got like 10 different chemicals I can't even pronounce in it. By the middle of the night, my whole body was aching, and I mean aching, and I knew, man, there is something radically wrong with me. The next day, I got up in the morning, I felt like I had a hangover. I wasn't right for 2 days, and it was from all the chemicals in that stuff, and it wasn't anything else. It was definitely the food I ate, and after that, I said, I just got to stay as far away from that junk as I possibly can. N1DBL.
Did you say it was deli meat?
Yeah, it was sliced deli meat, which is loaded with crappy chemicals. But between the deli meat and that bread, that really, really did me in. Now when I get Nature's Promise bread, which is just bread, period. It's bread, and it's organic. It's an organic. The stuff they use is organic, and it's just, you just don't get sick when you eat it. Now, I'm getting overly sensitive as I get older. Now, another very interesting fact, I think everybody on the world-famous Toad Harbor Net should listen to this. This is another interesting thing which nobody would ever think of. My heart skips beats once in a while, and it gets really, really bad. And for about 3 or 4 days, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 days last week, I was really concerned. You could feel it, almost like a hydraulic lock. You can just feel it, miss the beat, all the time. And I was really getting concerned. I said, there could be something really wrong here. Now, this has happened to me before, and what caused it was decaffeinated coffee. Any kind of coffee that's decaffeinated by the chemical method, where they use that long 45-letter long decaffeinating chemical, makes my heart skip beats. But I only use Nature's Promise coffee now, which is organic, and I was having the same problem. And I thought, what the hell could this be caused by? Because I'm 90% sure it's food, or I'm going to die, one or the other. And you know what it was? It was cheese. Just cheese. I was eating a lot of cheese for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was buying a different type of cheese each time and eating it on crackers. And finally, I quit the cheese, and that year my heart went back to not skipping beats. So there's something in cheese. Don't ask me what it is. Devin, you probably, if you know this, tell me what it is. Are there chemicals in cheese, or is there something else that I'm missing? N1DBL.
I don't know the name of the chemical, but I tell you, a lot of things they use in food is for processing. They don't use chemicals because they are good for you, either processing or preserving. So anytime anything this is processed highly, you got to be really careful. Sometimes even traces, parts per million of toxic stuff can get through the food and can have really terrible side effects. So anything that's processed, be careful how it's done. Now I think nowadays they do steam extraction of caffeine, which is safe. But they used to use dichloromethane or methylene dichloride, which is carcinogenic. When I used to teach here, All my students, I used to ask them to read all the ingredients. And if anything that's not in the kitchen, don't buy it. You are not going to buy all those chemicals in the kitchen to make your food better. They add them to process, not because they're healthy. So I'm glad, you are following your experience, will teach other people and lead to a healthy diet.
Right. Well, again, I stay as far from the processed food as I can. I try to buy. When I go to the store now, I just search for the organic stuff, and if it's organic, I buy it. And even organic carrots. And I'm noticing every time I go to the store more, you can buy organic onions from Nature's Promise. They make carrots, which I do buy for my soup. The onions weren't organic, but if you look around enough, you can find just about everything you buy in organic, and that's all I buy now. That's it, period. And believe you me, you certainly feel better. Like after eating that sliced meat and that bread that time, I'm honest to God, I was sick as a dog for 2 days, and I know darn well it was from that processed meat. Okay, back to Net.
Ray, what makes you think the stuff labeled organic is really organic?
Any leafy vegetable or fruits, don't buy anything that's sprayed, because the pesticides, my God, they can get you sick. All right, change the topic. Back to that, K1DSK.
Yeah, somebody came in and asked me what makes you think the food's organic. Because it's Nature's Promise. It's a company that, the only thing they make is organic food. Organic, everything they make's organic. So I would say that's probably organic.
There's just been scandals in the past where stuff labeled organic really wasn't, because they're able to charge a higher price for it. But, I'd wonder where they're getting their sourcing their food from, and how much it's being tested or inspected to make sure it really is certified.
Yeah, Maureen was just talking about the same exact thing, because their maple syrup had to be organic, and it's very rigorous. It's a very rigorous process to become truly organic and get that certification. And she knows for a fact that a lot of companies say they're organic, but if they really had to follow the rules, and if somebody was checking, it wouldn't be organic.
Right, but keep in mind that Nature's Promise, that's their whole business, is organic, period. They don't make anything that's not. So I would say they're probably as good as you could get.
Yeah, well, probably there.
Supermarkets,
nice to know, though, for sure.
99% of the time, when they say organic, it's organic. You do find some cases where people cheat. That's what makes headlines. These people who have to sell organic food really have to go through a rigorous process. And even if it's not 100% organic, 99% organic, that still is better than the run-of-the-mill food.
Well, my guess is, and this is just a guess, but as you get older and older and older, the what you eat becomes, and I knew this for a fact, and I didn't have to hear it from Devin, but I knew as I was getting older in eating different kinds of food, the food you eat as you get older is very, very important, probably a hell of a lot more important than when you were even very young. But of course, when you're born, from the time you're born until the time you get to 15 years old, you should be eating organic food. And that's an important time in your life. But it's also a very important time in your life when you get older. You got to be really, really careful what you eat, because it makes a big, big, big difference, everybody. So keep that in mind. N1DBL.
Hey, Ray, I still have the same question.
What is it?
Remember, before I went to India, I was talking about the RF issue on the loop on 20 meters and 70 meters. I changed the length of the letter line, increased by 20 feet. The RF coming in the check increased. So length of the letter line did not make a difference. Now the issue is maybe the ground wire, is it making ground loop? I measured that. That was about 22 feet. So it's not a fraction of 20 meter or 17 meter. I'm still struggling with the issue. 20 and 17 are the worst. 40, 80, 120, no issues. 15, no issue. 10 meter, again, RF. Even if 50 watts, 100 watts, I can measure it. Because now I have instruments, I measure everything. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but if I use power, I can really feel it in the speakers and everything. So 20 meters, 17 meter. I have run out of ideas.
Oh, I know the cure already.
Go ahead.
Don't use 17 and 20.
I don't use that. I use 1720, my hex beam, no issue. But once in a while, you want to listen to everybody, not direct in one direction. It'd be nice to have that. I wonder if other people have that issue, or they are not aware, or they don't measure it. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't seem to have any RF issues here. I did have a little bit on 6 meters, but basically the tuner and everything's not designed for 6. So if I ran 6, it was kind of, you could get RF-y here in the shack. Do you have ferrites on all your lines, like the line going from the tuner to the radio? Has that got a lot of ferrite material on it?
I have about 4 or 5 ferrites, but the tuner is very hot. Tuner glows. When I put the meter close to a tuner, it has very strong electrostatic field and the magnetic current. I measure the RF current on the coax and the ground wire, and I measure the electric field around the tuner and near ladder line. There's hardly any electric field. You go away 3 inches, there's no electric field, only if you touch it. But near the coax and the ground, I have strong RF signal.
What are you using for a ground wire?
I have a 8-gauge insulated wire, which goes to a bus and bus to the ground wire.
Well, you might try the world-famous Toad Harbor Net ground wire. I use it here, and it seems to work. It's an old trick Randy told me years ago. I don't know where he got it, but you take a piece of coax cable, and I don't know the exact right design. There's 2 ways to do it, but basically you connect a 0.01 disc capacitor between the ground and the center pin on the coax cable, and you connect that to the back of the tuner. In other words, you connect the center of the coax cable to the tuner, but you have a 0.01 disc going to ground. And on the other end, the way Randy told me originally, you put a 0.01 disc on the other end between the shield and the center, and you connect the center to ground. I've heard after that that's not the right way to do it. The way I have it here is I have a piece of LMR 400, not the Ultraflex, which means it's got an 11-gauge solid center conductor. That connects to the back of the tuner for the ground. I have a big, giant 6 kV 0.01 disc between the center and the shield, and then out to the ground rods down below. I tie the center and the shield together and ground it, and it seems to work.
What's 0.01? Picofarad, nanofarad, microfarad?
It's picofarad, 0.01. So that's what, like 10,000? I think it's 10,000 puff, or 100. I think it's 10,000.
No, 0.01 microfarad is 10,000. 0.01 is 0.01 puff.
Well, I don't know. I have to get the thing and look at it. It's a big, it's one of those red, orange, not red, they're kind of an orangey color, those old things. It's about 1 inch in diameter. It's rated for 6 kV, and it's a 0.01. Typical 0.01, whatever. John, what's a 0.01? Is that 10,000 puff?
Oh, it's a microfarad. Okay.
10,000 whatever it is, that's what it is. Now, you can try that. That's what I have here. It's always seemed to work good for me.
If you remove that capacitor, does it make any difference to RF?
I never tried it. I just took it at blind faith that that's probably the way to go, and I've heard it from other people. That's a good system, and it does something to do. It kind of, I think it helps with if you get into a length of feed line that's not correct. Now, I don't know if that's going to cure your problem, but if you're having trouble, I mean, this is just what I would do. If you're having trouble on 17 and 20 meters, then I would buy some ferrites that give you the best impedance at 17 to 20 meters. I wouldn't buy the clip-on ones. I'd buy the solid ones. I'd take the connectors off the one end of the cable there, and I'd go between the between the amplifier and the tuner, and I put about 10 of them on. I put like 5 on the tuner end and 5 down by the amplifier. Just put them all over that board. You can put them anywhere you want, and that's probably going to help. And also, it wouldn't hurt to put them between the radio and the tuner also. That's probably what I would do. But, RF at certain frequencies, at certain times of the day and night, and, the trees have leaves on them or don't. I mean, it can be so touchy. It can be the wiring in the house picking it up.
Hey, Devin.
Okay. 0.01 microfarad is 10,000 puffs. So that's the one, 6 kilovolt. Second, I'll put those beads. And third, even there's current flowing through the ground wire from tuner to ground wire. If there's current going through the ground wire, that seems to me that the ground wire is resonating or it's high impedance. Either it's one of the things that happens is if you have quarter wavelength ground wire at a frequency, that could create a problem, but that doesn't seem to be a problem. All right, I'll try that one step at a time. I'll try the beads, I'll try the capacitor, and see if I make any progress. It's not critical, because I don't use 20 and 17. I use my hex beam, but it'd be nice to have, nice to understand what's going on. All right, thank you, Ray. Back to that, K1DSK.
John's a lot better at this than I am. If he's in here, ask him. But, another thing you might want to try is putting some of those ferrites on the ground rod, on the ground wire. Get one of those, what do you call it, ferrites, the circle ones, the thing, and wrap the ground wire 3 or 4 turns through it, too, because, if you got that, the ground wire is radiating, you want to choke that, too. So I would put one of those up by the tuner if you're running that straight wire. I don't think that would hurt. I don't think no matter how much ferrite you put on anything's going to hurt anything. It's probably going to help you.
Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah. So when I had the same problem with my loop, and when I had 4-inch spaced feed line out to the so not to the corner. About 20 feet from the corner is where I fed it, right, on the straightaway. And I had no trouble whatsoever on any band. 10 meters through 160, I could use them all the power in the world, no interference whatsoever. So then I decided to listen to Ray, and I went to 2-inch spacing, and I fed it in the corner. And now I got nothing but RF on those bands. So then I decided when I put my hand on the tuner, a lot of it would go away. So then I put 4 ground cables on the tuner. And that helped significantly, but it didn't help it 100%. So I have a very similar problem. And I've had the ground wires all unhooked. I've had them all hooked up. I've done one at a time. I've done the ground wires like what Ray's describing to you, and that did help the most. But still, I have some RF that, and I got ferrite between the radio and the tuner and the amp and microphone cables and power cables and just about everything. The power supply stuff. Everything is is got ferrite chokes on it. The radio cable, the power supply stuff that lights the meters, everything has got ferrite chokes on it. I still have some trouble, but it's better than it was, but it's still pretty significant.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm trying to understand what causes it. I don't have ferrite on anything in the shack because when I measure the electric field and the RF current, I want to make sure its RF current is less than 10 milliamps on anything, and the electric field is probably, less than 100 milliwatt per meter cube, per meter square. And if it's less than that, then it will not interfere anything, and you will not need any choke or anything, or any ferrite. But 17 and 20, even 50 watts, my God, everything starts making noise. And so I will try that thing, and maybe I'll put multiple wires. But my biggest issue is I need to understand what is happening, and that's why Ray probably will find it amusing that I spend too much time trying to waste time on these things. But that's how I am. So I'll try different possibilities, and until I figure it out, I'll come up again and again on Toad Harbor. All right, thank you. Oh, so ground wire. Do you have multiple ground wires going to the same spot or to different ground rods?
Different ground rods. I've got 4. I've got 1 in the basement, okay, and I've got 4 outside the shack here. And I understand. I bored the holes in the ground with my tractor, with my 12-inch auger, and then down 4 feet, and then drove the 8-foot rod down, through that 4 feet that was still remaining. Then I filled the holes with salt, rock salt, and then I covered all that up. So these are salted ground rods, and they're in like probably a 12-foot area, all within a 12-foot area. Some are straight down, some are out at 90 degrees, going out away from the shack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have much better ground system than I have. I have 1 in the house, 1 outside, and third one just connected to the hex beam. So the house, ground wire, and outside, they are connected to the same bus. So probably I need at least 1 or 2 more ground rods, and then have separate wires going to those. All right, I'll try those. Enough for the new project. Thank you, guys. K1DSK.
And I drilled my Palstar tuner, and everything is grounded to the tuner. I don't have the other equipment's not grounded except for the AC ground. Actually, no, I lifted the AC ground off this rig to try that with one of those adapters, but that's all back to being grounded. But and of course the amplifier is grounded with a chassis ground and like that because it's plugged into the AC. But I've got all the ground rods into the back of all the ground rods are connected to the tuner.
I see. Yeah, I have everything grounded. Oh, one interesting thing. When right now I'm using 82K as a tuner, and I switched it with the 85K. The RF increased tremendously, at least 2 or 3 fold. All the signals went up. I don't know what happened because the 85K handles higher voltages because of there's no balun at the output, and 82K handles lower voltage in the tuner because of 4-to-1 balun. So something is coming over the ladder line. It can be coming from outside from the antenna because at 50 watt, I took the meters outside and I hardly felt anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying the RF in the shack is worse when you're running the 5K versus the 2K?
That's correct.
I have to try that. I'll try that on 17 meters with this little tuner I have, the super tuner, and see how that works, see if there's a difference. But I had a tuner here before. I forget what it was. I think maybe the Nye Viking. I think the Nye Viking had less RF in the shack than my AT5K did, if I remember correctly. I think I'm pretty sure. One of them I had, the lesser expensive tuners that I had here, that I wound up, giving to somebody or whatever. The smaller tuner had less RF coming in than the AT5K did.
Yeah, when I put the RF meter, the electric field meter, near the tuner has maximum RF. The cables have less. I don't know. Maybe because they are single wires and they don't cancel each other. Maybe RF just gets in there. I got to figure that out. All right, guys, I got to go. The game's starting. My honey's waiting. Can't make this mistake. Happy wife, happy life. Good night, everyone. K1DSK, I'll be back. 73.
Happy balanced tuner, no RF. Get a balanced tuner.
Well, I do have a balanced tuner because the 85K is supposed to be a balanced tuner.
Look at the schematic. I don't think any of those are. KD1 Mountainous Whiskey Romicus.
Yeah, okay, and I have a balanced tuner, Devin, so that may be the difference.
73, everyone.
Good night, Devin. Say hi to Catherine.
Tuner, so that may be the difference. Okay, see you later. Randy, when you put up this tower you have, all as tall as you can make it with, say, a 10-foot plastic pipe sticking out the top, how high is it going to be?
85 feet.
No, it's not going to be 85.
I told you, I'm not talking about the antenna and the tower and all that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to talk to you about it.
Are you going to take your ball and go home? The reason I'm asking is I have my chart. I did a mechanical drawing of this thing. And at 125 feet, the end of the wires will be 35.41 feet off the ground. And I thought yours was going to be a little higher than that. Okay, go ahead. Take your ball and go home. Sometimes I really wonder about you. Okay, back to net.
No, you're insane. You get on something, you won't shut up about it. And we've talked about this a bazillion times, and you won't stop. So I'm not talking. I told you I'm not going to talk to you about it on the air anymore because you just go nuts.
I asked you a simple question. You're nuts. I'm nuts? No, you're nuts. Okay, now back to net.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Carol said hi to you and Maureen.
Okay, say hi to Carol.
You sure you want to say hi to Carol? You sure? You sure? Depends on what day it is, doesn't it?
You're such a jerk. Everybody hear this? This is the kind of guy that Ray is right here. His true colors are coming out. Have you been drinking, Ray?
No. I don't drink. Rarely drink because, too old to drink.
You had vermouth today, didn't you?
I cooked it in soup for an hour, so I'm sure all the alcohol long boiled off at 168 degrees. Yes, by the way, for all of you that don't know this, and Joan taught me this, and Joan is a very good cook. Put vermouth, that's the wine you want to use in all your cooking, is that Martini and Rossi, which is a really good vermouth. Put that in white vermouth in your cooking. That's a very nice all-around cooking wine.
Do you use the sweet or the dry?
I use the sweet. I've never tried the dry, but that's probably a really good idea to try it. I did try this wine one time, this sweet wine somebody gave me, or I bought, and I was making pot roast and I put it in. It totally ruined it. I had to pour it all off and get rid of that sweet wine and start the whole thing all over again. So you really have to be careful. But the dry vermouth works really good. Whether the sweet would work, it probably would work. But I'm just saying it's a lot cheaper than buying a good bottle of wine. And you buy you get like probably 2 liters for $12.95.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's a quality product, that's what I'm in. Okay, Bruce, anyway, did I have a question? I thought I had a question for you, but I can't remember what it was.
Where is Bruce tonight?
He's here.
Come on, Bruce. Where are you?
I'm sitting here in the arch at my desk.
How are things in the arch?
Well, not too bad. Kind of in disarray. I got too many things going on in here. Every surface is covered with something. You know, things leaning up against everything. Wires all over the letters. Batteries. You know, antennas. It just needs to be organized.
Sounds like my shop. I've been cleaning it up all night, and I can't even tell.
Bruce, every time you talk about your workshop there, I get this visual of Marty McFly in the corner saying, "Doc," and you say, "What? 0.21 gigawatts?"
Hey, Bruce, what was the name of the guy that had a shop back in the early 1900s, from, you know, probably, I'm guessing 20 to 30 to up towards the end of World War II, and it's out on the coast, somewhere out by Salem, Massachusetts. You know who I'm talking about?
The shop?
Yeah, it was on I was watching one of these shows on, you know, either the Science Channel or their History Channel about a week ago. And they showed this shop on television. This guy was an inventor, and he was of the likes of Tesla. He did a lot of Tesla-type stuff. And he also worked with an actress from Hollywood who actually held the patents for some torpedo guidance device in World War II. And she was a very, very beautiful, very famous world-class actress. But I can't remember the guy's name. But the reason I'm asking is because they showed his shop, and I was at that shop. I went out that way. It was in what's the town where all the sailors go out of?
On Cape Cod or the Massachusetts coast?
Mass coast.
New Bedford?
Where'd the ship that disappeared there, the Perfect Storm ship, where's that come out of?
Probably Gloucester.
That's it, Gloucester. We were visiting Gloucester in the Salem area, and we went to that shop. It's right around there, and it's like I said, they showed it on TV. It looks like a workshop from the turn of the century. It's all very old stuff like Tesla would have used. It's all still there, and I remember when I went there personally, probably 15 years ago, and they showed it on TV. It was the same place, and the actress. I don't know if it's the true story, but she was supposed to be some kind of a genius, and she worked out of that shop, and they developed some kind of a guidance system for a World War II torpedo.
Yeah, Hedy Lamarr, maybe?
Yes, Hedy Lamarr. Now, who was the guy?
I'm not sure, but yeah, she came up with spread spectrum. Communication encoding.
Right, that was it. Well, that's what they were talking about. But the guy was real famous too, and anyway, it was his shop. But Hedy Lamarr used to be there. If you ever go out there, if you ever get out that way, or look that up online, and it'd be well worth a trip out there to go out for the day with your beautiful wife, have lunch out there, and go to that shop. You would love it.
Yeah, I have to look it up. I can't think of the guy's name either. But I know there was a pair of them, man and woman. They worked together. I think he was a musician, and I think he, from his knowledge of music and the piano scale, you know, and harmonics and stuff, and he that's how he sort of, that's where the genesis was of coming up with the spread spectrum technology.
George Anthell.
That doesn't ring a bell with me, but did he work with Hedy Lamarr?
He's a composer, right?
Developed the radio guidance system. Him and her.
Well, maybe that's who I'm talking about. Does it say where his shop is? It's on or about Gloucester. And that shop, Bruce, is exactly the way it was like back in the 30s and the 40s. It's really cool.
That'd be good. Nice to go see it. It would be a step back in time.
Oh, it was really weird. If you got to see it because it's right on the coast. It's right on the ocean, overlooking the ocean. It looks like a castle. It almost looks like it looks very much like a horror movie. They probably filmed horror movies at this place. And it's really, really neat. And it's like a, 1920s, 1930s type of shop, and the floors and everything inside there is all that old wooden floor and everything. It's so cool.
Well, the next thing I'll do is figure out where it was in Gloucester, or what the name of it is.
Yeah, the house or the castle has a name. There is a name. And it was just something you really have to go see. It's really, really well worth seeing it.
She was arrested for shoplifting in 1991.
Oh, my God. She was incredibly beautiful.
There was another scientific place down here just to the east of me during the war. Colonel Green was this wealthy guy who owned beautiful estate at the harbor opening from Paden Aram, and he opened it up to the scientists from the MIT radiation lab during the war, and they did a lot of work with microwaves and radar down there. There was, until recently, there was this huge dish up on a great big concrete cylinder that went, maybe 80 feet in the air or so. The dish must have been 60 feet in diameter, maybe. It was big. And it had sat there facing straight up ever since they abandoned the research lab. And then a few years ago, I understand they took it down. I haven't been over there since they've done that, but and so anyway, a lot of the early radar work and microwave work was done right over there, and the MIT's famous radiation lab, which wrote a whole volume of textbooks. I've got a few of them. There's like 47 volumes. Those were the books that won the war for us. All the stuff, everything you can ever imagine is covered in those books in terms of the technology that won the war. I've got here one of the local junk dealer was scrapping out some of the stuff over there. I managed to get a variometer that was over there, and I got it here somewhere. So I got a little piece of history. KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
Were you in on any of these conversations in the last couple of weeks about the Abrams tank and the velocity of the cannon?
No. But if you fired one of those shells straight up into the cloud, you think it would put a hole in it?
Well, we have a world-renowned expert in here about that, and I knew some stuff about it, but I didn't, because I've seen it on TV about the muzzle velocity of it, but the muzzle velocity they're telling you on TV is the real one, you know. It's probably the test shells they use, you know, the training ammunition, which is a much lower velocity. But I think he said it'll go up like 68 kilometers if you fire it straight up. Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, it is. They must put behind that shell.
Okay, here's the question, and this is this is actually a fact. What's the muzzle velocity of the 17-pound projectile?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to guess it's 6,000 feet per second.
Well, that's one hell of a guess, because I would have thought what they show on TV is 2,700 feet per second. It's 5,700 feet per second, 8.5 million foot-pounds of energy. Is that amazing?
I wouldn't want to be around anything that got hit by it.
In how? You know, I had a question too, and Bob, are you in here? The question would be, they can shoot a tank 2 miles away with this thing. So if you were standing in the line of fire, and you were just standing there, a soldier, and that dart went by, say 100 feet away from you. Now it's way supersonic, so obviously it's breaking the sound barrier. And the question would be, if it went by you, say 100 feet away, I don't know, say 20 feet off the ground, would it kill you? Would it knock you down? What would happen?
I don't know. The sonic boom would rattle your cage.
I imagine it would. But I was wondering if the thing even made, I mean, I'm assuming it makes a sonic boom, but it looks like a dart. It's very, it's very long and it's very thin. It's probably, I'm guessing it's 1.5 inches in diameter or something. It's not very thick. Gerald Bull, and the reason this whole thing came up is because I was watching a show about Gerald Bull. You know, he's the guy that was instrumental in building those big, huge cannons. And he was trying to put stuff into orbit by cannon, by shooting it out of a cannon. And he was working on this, and the U.S. government was paying him right around 1959 or 60. And that's what they were going to try to do, is put stuff into orbit by shooting it up, which would be, dirt cheap. It would cost you pennies on the dollar, 2 cents on the dollar to put something in orbit. And he was able to get up to 111 miles with that cannon.
That's amazing. That's just amazing.
And that wasn't the multiple charge thing that he was building for Saddam Hussein, which basically was a 200 foot or 300 foot barrel, and you'd fire the projectile, and it would go like, say, 50 feet, and then there'd be another charge that would boost it from there, and another charge after that, so it might have 3 charges pushing it out the barrel. And that's how he was going to try to get even a greater range out of it. But 111 miles, that's pretty impressive, that really is. Of course, you got to go, 17.5 to stay in orbit, so I don't think you could get that velocity. Anyway, go ahead, everybody, back to net. I'm going to figure out how fast that is.
W2 and ER, yeah, I wouldn't quite put that description on it, but okay.
Is that Mike?
sounds like, but I don't think he's here.
It's Nick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That call always throws me.
Hello, Nick. I think we hit a wrong button or something.
Hey, they're calling that Hedy Lamarr the mother of Wi-Fi.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, I always thought she was one of the most incredibly beautiful women out there. You know, big star back in probably the 40s. And it's hard to believe that she could actually be that smart.
And a shoplifter. I don't see anything here where they're talking about the location of this lab.
How old was she when she allegedly got caught shoplifting?
I don't know. I have to go back to that, but it was in 1991.
Right. Well, she was probably in her 40s back in the 40s, so she could have been really old. And what I'm thinking is she might have been kind of senile and just walked out of the store not realizing she didn't pay for it. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but that does happen sometimes to older people.
Well, she died in 2000. She was born in 1914.
Yeah, right. So 1914 to, what, 91 she got knocked off?
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, is Bruce in there from Little Compton?
Hey, hi, Dick. K81MW.
Yeah, K1MW. I was just wondering, is that place still open down there called the Coast? Is that it? Where you can get clams, chowder and stuff?
Oh, Dick, no, that's long gone. They tore it down. And sitting in its place now is a private club.
Gee whiz, everything good goes the other way. Oh, well, okay, thank you. I was going to take my bride down there, take my wife down there, and we remember that place, you know? In fact, my mom and dad used to go down there and have a big bowl with clam chowder. Oh, boy. Oh, it was so good. And I went with her, of course, with them at that time, and then my wife and I, we knew that place. Oh, gee, that's too bad. That's too bad. And that green, little green thing there, that big dish, that's gone, too. Oh, we were over there on Rocky Heights West, I guess, and there's Boulevard in New Bedford, and we're looking over there toward the hill, toward that area, and we used to see that dish out, but nope, that's gone, too. Oh, well. Okay, thank you for the information, K1 Adam Henry Adam.
Yeah, okay, Dick. Yeah, this is a great place, the Focusal. A lot of good times down there. A lot of people went there. The family that ran it's still around. They had a big family, the Rogers. They're around there in construction, and you know they've been spread far and wide around here in town still. But the original place is long gone.
Lincoln Park was awesome too in the old days. Oh, gee. Yeah, Lincoln Park, now it's a housing area. They're putting, I don't know, all kinds of different houses in there. Not the same as it used to be when I was younger, much younger.
No, they had the $1 million ballroom there and the big roller coaster.
When the wind blew the right way, I could hear them things clank, 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 clank when it was going up the tracks there, the roller coaster. I could hear it, and it was quite a ways away from where I lived there, but at least 7 or 8 miles. I don't know if that sound right. I don't know. Maybe I'm losing it. I used to hear it
it would start going up the thing there. I don't know. Oh, well. Oh, geez. Those days were good, though. K1AHA. At least I can remember. I can still remember them things. Oh, that's a good thing. Back to the Toad Holler Nest. The only one and only Toad Holler. Yes, sir.
I'm out of here, boys. See you tomorrow. KB2ZVP.
See you, Randy. I'm going to WM4CH.
Check in tomorrow with that new amp.
We'll see.
Well, good luck to you. I hope it goes as well as you hope it does.
Okay, thanks. I'm not sure I'm going to get it yet, but we'll see.
Roger. Okay. See you later. KB2ZVP. Good night.
Pancakes tomorrow, Randy?
Sure. I would love to have some pancakes. Can you bring them to the plant around 7:30?
You got it. With Mrs. Butterworth.
Mrs. Buttersworth, sure. All right. Nope, Maureen says. Okay, I'll see you. I'm going to go. KB2ZVP.
Good night, guys. K1 Adam, Henry Adam, gotta go upstairs. See you later. See you tomorrow night, possibly. K1 Adam, Henry Adam. Have a good day.
Could just hear you, Dick, but have a good night. W2 Karawa.
Okie dokie. Have a good night. K1 Adam, Henry Adam. Gotta go open the off then. My eyes better.
Randy, you still there?
Si, senor.
Do you have an FT991?
I do.
I'm going to forward you an email that I just received.
Okay. Again, I appreciate it.
This is not one that you're thinking of. You should look at it now.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I am.
Looking for an email?
You should be getting it. Yep. right now.